My engagement ended the moment I opened our wedding invitations and saw another man's name next to my fiancée's. She called it a typo and laughed it off. I simply said, "Don't worry, I'll handle it." Then I made a few calls, canceled everything, and sent out a new message to our guest list. "Party at my place, I'm single again." The voicemail her mother left me afterward was absolutely unhinged. "I'm Marcus, 34 years old. I'm what you'd call a structured guy. I work in financial analysis, live by spreadsheets, set clear goals, follow timelines. My fiancée, Rebecca, 29, was my complete opposite. Go with the flow. Live in the moment. She was all about aesthetics, appearances, making things look perfect. I always thought we balanced each other out, you know? My stability grounding her free spirit. My organization taming her beautiful chaos. I genuinely believed the structure I provided was exactly what she needed. But turns out, her chaos wasn't charming at all. It was just unresolved feelings for her ex-boyfriend. We'd been planning this wedding for 13 months. We were 3 weeks out. The stress was reaching its peak. Her mother, Patricia, 52, was the ringleader of this entire circus, and her taste was more expensive than my car payment. I'd basically become a human checkbook, just signing off on everything to keep the peace. I'd paid for roughly 85% of everything. The venue, the live band, the 6-tier custom cake that probably would have tasted like fancy cardboard. Everything on my credit card. Rebecca, who has a degree in graphic design, insisted on creating the invitations herself. She used some ridiculously expensive letterpress service. "The touch has to be perfect, Marcus. It's the first impression people get. It sets the entire tone for our day," she'd say over and over. Yesterday, the box arrived. I was genuinely excited. This was the final piece before everything came together. I opened it up. The invitation was stunning. Thick, cream-colored paper, elegant gold lettering. I started reading. "Patricia and Michael Henderson request the honor of your presence at the marriage of their daughter Rebecca Ann to Connor Matthews." Connor. I froze. Connor. Connor Matthews. Her ex-boyfriend. The guy she dated for 4.5 years before me. The same man her mother still mentions at every single family gathering. The one who got away. The one she swore up and down she was completely over. My name is Marcus. Marcus Reed. I grabbed another invitation. Same mistake. Another one. Same thing. All of them. 200 invitations, every single one announcing Rebecca's marriage to Connor. Strangely, I didn't yell. I went completely cold inside. I walked into the living room where Rebecca and Patricia were looking at floral centerpiece options on her laptop. "Hey, Becca," I said, my voice way too calm. "The invitations came. There's a small issue." She barely looked up. "Oh, thank God. How do they look? Are they perfect?" "They're perfect in a way. Beautiful, actually. But there's a wrong name on them." Patricia sighed dramatically. "What? Did they spell your last name wrong? These printers are so incompetent." I didn't respond to her. "They got my last name right. It's the first name that's wrong. It says Connor, not Marcus." Silence. Patricia's eyes went wide. Rebecca froze completely. Then she laughed. This nervous, high-pitched, fake laugh. "Oh my God," she said, covering her mouth. "You're joking, right?" She took the invitation from my hand. Her face went pale, then bright red. "It must have been a file mix-up," she said, still with that nervous laugh. "The designer must have used an old draft. Oh wow, this is so embarrassing. I should have double-checked. Wrong file entirely." Patricia jumped in immediately. "A simple mistake, Rebecca. Really, that's all. Marcus, don't look so serious. It's actually kind of funny when you think about it." I just stared at them. "A file mix-up," I repeated slowly. "You uploaded your ex-boyfriend's full name to our wedding invitations, and you're calling that a file mix-up." "Marcus, stop it," Rebecca snapped, the laughter gone. "It was an honest mistake. You always blow everything out of proportion. We'll just have them reprinted. No need to be dramatic about it." "Rebecca," I said quietly, "the wedding is in 3 weeks. There's no time to reprint and remail these. And you didn't type this. You uploaded a file. A file that I'm guessing was named something like Rebecca and Connor Wedding. Her eyes went wide. I didn't actually know the file name. I was guessing. But her reaction told me I'd hit it exactly. "You're being so dramatic," she shouted. "It's just a name. You always do this. You make me feel guilty over nothing. It was a stupid mistake. That's it. Are you going to hold this over my head forever?" I looked at her. I saw the panic in her eyes, the immediate blame shifting, the gaslighting kicking into high gear, and suddenly, everything made sense. The texts she'd accidentally let me see, her mother's constant comments about Connor, the way she got defensive whenever I asked simple questions. Something inside me just shut off. I smiled. A weird, tight smile. "You're right," I said. "Just a silly mistake. Don't worry about it, babe. I'll take care of everything." She relaxed, relieved. "See? It's nothing. Thank you, honey. You're the best." "Of course. I'll handle it all. You keep looking at those flowers. They're what really matters, right? They set the tone." "Exactly," she said, laughing again. "I knew I could count on you." I went into my office and closed the door. I sat there for about 15 minutes, shaking. The pain was physical, like someone had punched me in the chest. Then I started moving. After all, I'm a planner. Step 1. Secure the money. It was 7:15 p.m. I opened my laptop. We had a separate savings account just for wedding expenses, about $28,000 remaining. I transferred every penny to my personal checking account, then immediately to a completely new account I'd opened at a different bank that afternoon. Just in case. Step 2. The venue. I pulled up the contract for the Sterling Estate, the stupidly expensive venue. I'd already paid a $12,000 deposit. The remaining balance, $8,500, was due the following week. I called the events manager. "Hi, this is Marcus Reed. I need to cancel the wedding." "Oh, Mr. Reed. Is everything all right?" "Unfortunately, no. My fiancée is apparently still in love with her ex. So much so that she put his name on our wedding invitations instead of mine." A shocked gasp on the other end. "I know the deposit is non-refundable," I continued. "I accept that loss. I just need to make absolutely certain my card won't be charged for the balance. Can you confirm that by email?" "Of course, Marcus. I'm so sorry this happened to you." "Me too," I replied. Step 3. The vendors, 7:35 p.m., one by one. Florist, $3,500 deposit, canceled. Band, $2,200, canceled. That ridiculous cake, $1,800, canceled. Photographer, $4,000, canceled. Caterer, $5,000, canceled. Each conversation was brief, professional, cold. Some asked if I was sure. I was sure. Step 4. The announcement. I logged into the wedding website Rebecca had spent weeks perfecting. There was the complete guest list, all 200 email addresses. I clicked Email all guests. I started typing. Subject: Important correction regarding the Rebecca and Reed wedding. Dear friends and family, you may soon receive a beautifully printed invitation to the wedding of Rebecca and Connor. Apparently, this is what's being called a file mix-up, since the actual groom was supposed to be Marcus. I've decided to correct this small administrative error. The wedding of Marcus and Rebecca is cancelled. However, I've already paid for an open bar at an excellent venue, and it would be a shame to let all that good alcohol go to waste. Therefore, you're all cordially invited to my back to single party. Same date, same time. New location: Blackwood Brewery, 847 Industrial Ave. Come celebrate my narrow escape. Gifts aren't expected, but your presence and your thirst are very welcome. See you there, Marcus." I stared at the send button. My hand was shaking. This was the point of no return. I thought about Rebecca, about Connor, about that file name. I clicked send. Step 5. What came next? Within minutes, my phone exploded. Messages, calls, emails everywhere. My best man, Tyler. "Dude, please pick up. I'm calling you right now." My mom. "Son, please call me. What's happening?" Friends we had in common. WTF? Is this a joke? "Oh my God, Marcus. I'm so sorry." Then Rebecca's phone, which was sitting on the coffee table in the living room, started ringing non-stop. She and Patricia were still in the kitchen debating dessert options. I heard Rebecca walk back into the living room. Jesus, who's blowing up my phone? She muttered. She picked it up. The silence was absolute. I sat in the office, waiting. Marcus, she said, her voice weak. Marcus, what is Blackwood Brewery? I walked out of the office. She was white as a sheet, staring at her phone. That's my solution, I replied calmly. I canceled the wedding and turned it into a party. You're not invited. You canceled? She screamed. What? The wedding? You can't do that. I can't marry Connor if you already canceled the venue, I said flatly. Rebecca, it was just a file mix-up, she shrieked, her face turning red. A mistake, you psycho. You ruined my wedding. No, I said, grabbing my keys and my backpack. You ruined it when you put his name on the invitation. I'm just making it official. I'll call the venue. I'll fix this. Go ahead, I replied. But it won't work. All the contracts are canceled. All of them were in my name. All paid for by me. I was already heading toward the door when Patricia, who'd finally grasped what was happening, planted herself in front of me. You son of a bitch, she hissed. You're going to fix this right now. You're going to call everyone and apologize. You humiliated my daughter. She humiliated me first, I replied, stepping around her. Have a good evening, Patricia. I turned back to Rebecca. Oh, and tomorrow I'm changing the locks on my apartment. You should probably start looking for another place. I walked out. I'm now at Tyler's place. I have 23 missed calls from Rebecca, 15 from Patricia, 47 text messages, and 1 voicemail from Patricia that I put on speaker for Tyler. You listen to me, you piece of garbage. You ruined my daughter, canceled her dream wedding, canceled the florist. I will sue you. You'll pay for the dress. You'll pay for the cake. Then it dissolved into incoherent screaming. Tyler looked at me, wide-eyed, and handed me a beer. Dude, he said, that $28,000 was the best money you ever spent. I think he's right. Update 1. It's been a week now. I'm writing this from a sterile, corporate-furnished apartment. My company owed me a favor, and apparently my fiancée put her ex's name on our wedding invitations is a legitimate reason to use it. I haven't been back to my condo. First things first, the back-to-single party is 100% confirmed. Blackwood Brewery felt bad for me and gave me a discount to use the same bar credit. The chaos has been biblical. My condo is mine. I bought it 6 years before I ever met Rebecca. But according to my lawyer, yes, I now have a lawyer named Greg. She has tenant rights since she'd been living there for 18 months, so I couldn't just change the locks without notice. I had to send a formal 30-day eviction notice. She lost her mind. She called from a blocked number, and stupidly I answered. You served me? She screamed. You sent a stranger to my door with papers like I'm some kind of criminal. I'm just following the law, Rebecca. You have 30 days to get your things. My things? This is my home. You're abusive, Marcus. This is financial abuse. You destroyed my dream. You put your ex's name on the invitation, Rebecca. Seems like the dream was different than mine. It was a mistake. A mistake. I was stressed. My mom, I uploaded the wrong file. It didn't mean anything. It meant enough, I replied. I'm blocking this number now. All communication needs to go through my lawyer, Greg. You have his contact. I hung up. But her sense of entitlement seems to have evolved. Yesterday, I received a certified letter at my office. Sender, Patricia Henderson. Inside was a detailed 5-page invoice totaling $43,700. Items included $12,000, non-refundable wedding dress and accessories purchase. $8,000, emotional damages and public humiliation caused by defamatory email. She spelled defamatory wrong. $4,200, prepaid, non-refundable beauty treatments, spray tans, facials, hair trial runs $2,500, lost bridal shower venue deposit $650, custom cake topper $16,350, consulting fees for wedding planning services rendered by Patricia Henderson. She literally billed me for helping plan the wedding. I stared at the paper in disbelief. The $650 cake topper caught my attention. It was that custom silhouette piece made to order. I have the charge on my credit card statement from March. I paid for it, not her, not Patricia. They were trying to charge me twice for the same item. I scanned the invoice and sent it to Greg with the subject line, FYI, this seems ambitious. Greg called me back laughing. Don't respond, he said. This is what we call amateur hour. It has no legal standing. It's just a tantrum in paper form. But that cake topper, that $650 artifact, bothered me. I'd paid for it. It was mine. And it was probably still sitting in my apartment. Then came the real hit. I got an alert from my bank. Fraud detected. Someone had tried to cash a check from an old account of mine that I'd closed 4 years ago. The check was made out to Patricia Henderson for $18,000. In the memo line, wedding vendor payment. It was Rebecca. She must have found an old checkbook buried in some drawer in my office and tried to pay her mother for those wedding planning consultation services. The check, of course, bounced. The closed account went negative by about $17,985, but the act itself constituted criminal fraud. I called Greg. This time he didn't laugh. Okay, he said slowly. Actually, this is great for us. Really great. I'm sending this to her lawyer right now with a little message. This is how we get her out of the apartment before the 30 days. Greg sent a professionally vicious email to Rebecca's new lawyer. Some clearly desperate guy Patricia must have found in the phone book. The email politely described the crime of check fraud, suggested that instead of me pressing criminal charges, Rebecca should vacate the property within 48 hours, signing a full release of any claims to the property except her personal belongings. Her lawyer must have explained exactly how many years in prison check fraud for a high-dollar amount can get you. 2 hours later, I received a simple response. Ms. Henderson will vacate the property by 5 p.m. Friday. That's tomorrow. Tyler and I arranged to go over there with police escort, just to supervise the move-out. The back-to-single party is officially happening at my soon-to-be liberated apartment. And this time, the locks will be changed for real the moment she walks out. It's over. I'm sitting in my apartment right now. There's a weird smell, something between burnt hair and cheap perfume. But it's mine. The move-out was a spectacle. I arrived with Tyler and 2 police officers. The cops were extremely professional, just standing by the door making sure nobody lost it. Rebecca was there, Patricia too, and nothing was packed. Apparently they'd spent the 48 hours grieving. And by grieving, I mean destroying my stuff. It wasn't total destruction. It was small, petty, and intentional. My favorite leather armchair had a thin razor cut across the back. My professional blender was missing. My entire spice collection was dumped in the sink. My toothbrush was in the toilet. And the smell. She'd apparently dumped every perfume bottle she owned onto my mattress. I'm going to have to burn it. Patricia started screaming the moment I walked in. You brought police? You're going to have my daughter arrested, you monster? The officer responded calmly. Ma'am, we're just here to prevent any disturbances. Mr. Reed is allowing Ms. Henderson to remove her personal belongings. Patricia gestured wildly at my television. These are her things. She lives here. This is her home. No, it's not, I replied coldly. Greg's email. 48 hours. Get your things and leave. Rebecca was on the floor, crying. You did this? You hate me now? Yes, I replied. You committed fraud, Rebecca. You tried to steal $18,000 from me. Get your things. That's when I saw the cake topper. The $650 artifact was sitting on the dining table, and it was vandalized. She'd drawn obscenities in black marker all over the silhouette that represented me, and snapped her own figure off at the ankles. You can't take that, she screamed, clutching it. My mother paid for it. No, she didn't, I replied. Here's the charge on my credit card. It's mine. Let go. She hesitated, tense. The officers moved closer. Then, with a primal scream, she hurled the cake topper at the wall. It shattered into dozens of pieces. There, she sobbed. Now it doesn't look like you anymore. The officer stepped forward. Ma'am, gather your belongings and leave now, or you'll be arrested for property damage. It took 3 hours. They filled a moving truck. Patricia tried to take my couch. The officer had to intervene and ask for a receipt. She didn't have one, obviously. Finally, they left. The door closed. The officers left. I stood there in my destroyed apartment and started laughing. I lost an armchair, a mattress, and a blender. I spent about $32,000 on deposits and damages, and every single penny was worth it. The back-to-single party happened 2 weeks ago. I called a specialized cleaning company, literally biohazard cleanup, and the apartment came out spotless. And it was, without exaggeration, the best party of my entire life. Over 120 people showed up. Friends, family, and ironically, half of our mutual acquaintances. The ones who'd received the defamatory email and after hearing the full story, took my side. Tyler made a toast to Marcus, the man who knows when to quit and when to turn a disaster into a legendary party. We burned a copy of the Rebecca and Connor invitation in my fireplace. It was cathartic. I heard through a mutual friend that Rebecca and Patricia are furious with me and the world. Their attempt to smear my name failed. My defamatory email was just the truth. Rebecca is now living with her mother. And with Connor, the man she ruined everything for. He actually messaged me on Instagram. "Hey man, heard what happened. That's crazy. Just wanted to say I had nothing to do with it. She's intense. No hard feelings?" And I believe him. He wasn't complicit. She was just fantasizing, stuck in an old file called Rebecca and Connor Wedding, convincing herself it was real. Pathetic. I'm not angry anymore. Just free. I lost about $32,000. I'm sleeping on an air mattress until my new bed arrives, and I need to buy another blender. But I'm free. I didn't marry into that family. I didn't tie my life to a woman capable of committing a crime over a file mix-up. The revenge wasn't the party. The revenge was believing in myself. And like I said, I handled it.